Okay, we are live. Welcome everybody to this question and answer session. So if you have any questions right now, you can write them in the chat, or you can click on the raise hand button inside of Zoom. If you're on Zoom, then you can click the raise hand button and you can write a question. You can ask a question like that, or you can just write your question in the chat. All right. So as you can see, we are live right now on YouTube, and also we have students from our program who are able to join today as well. So looking forward to speaking with everyone today. And today we're just answering questions. That's it. So, I'll wait for you to ask questions, and then I'll answer them. And that's how this will go. All right, I see Rupali has a question. He says, what's the difference between yet and still? Great question. So this is really a question of positive verbs and negative verbs. So for example, we have positive verb, like if we say, I have a car, then have is the verb, and this is positive. If it's negative, then we would say, I don't have a car, right? So there are three types of sentences usually that we talk about. We have the positive sentence or positive verb, negative verb, and we have the question form of the verb. And so the difference between still and yet is really easy because we use still with positive verbs and we use yet with negative verbs and with questions. Usually we use still and yet with present perfect. So we might say something like, I haven't done my homework yet. I have not done my homework yet. I have not finished my homework yet. Or we could use it with a question. Have you done your homework yet? Right? Or we could say, I am still doing my homework. I'm still doing it. So still really shows us that it's not finished and I continue into the future. And yet means that something in the past did not happen until now, right? So they're a little different. Still is about now and the future, and yet is also about the past until now. So a great question. All right. You can write your questions in the chat, or you can click on the raise hand button in Zoom and you can ask your question on Zoom. Okay, here's a good question. What's the difference between teacher and tutor? So they're very similar, but a teacher is usually a person who teaches you a specific subject, and a tutor is usually someone who helps you with a problem and understanding something in the subject. So maybe you've learned the subject already, and then you need some extra help. You need some more help with this subject. So you might need a tutor for this. And Jean says, what about a coach? So a coach, usually this is more about something like strategy or your approach to doing this work or learning this thing. So a coach is I think more general, but maybe you find a coach just to help you with one problem that you have, or it's more related to business. It's more related to something bigger. And a tutor is more connected to someone who is just studying at school, for example, and needs some more help. All right, I'm going to look at some more questions here. What's the difference between a verb that's positive or negative? So the difference between a verb that's positive or negative is just if we say not, right? So like, I have a car, I do not have a car. In the first sentence, have is positive, and do not have or haven't, this is negative. Okay, Anna says, what's the difference between rather than and rather than? Rather than and rather than. Well. The difference is that rather than is not correct. Only rather than. Okay, so we can say rather than. And this word than has an A in it. An A, not an E, right? So it's rather than, not rather than. Okay, great. Let's see. My question is, if you want to learn a foreign language alone, how can you do it? Okay, if you want to learn a foreign language alone, maybe you want to learn something like, what's it called? Esperanto, some kind of language that nobody uses, right? Because if you're learning a language, you need to use it to speak with people. You need to use it to connect with people. That's why we use the language, right? So if you're just going to use it alone, I don't know what you're going to do with the language. I mean, even if you need to use the language to find information on the internet, this is not alone, right? You still have to follow some rules of the language. So I think it's better not to learn a language alone, to learn it with other people. Okay. Okay, here's a good question from someone on YouTube asking questions. By the way, you can ask your questions in the chat on YouTube, in the chat on Zoom, or by clicking the raise hand button and saying, hey, Kris, I have a question. Great. So, okay, next question here is, what's the difference between ground, floor, and down? Okay, down is just a direction, right? It's just a direction. We can go up and we can go down. So that's the word down. Ground is like the land, right? So it's the bottom floor of the building, maybe, or we can use ground when we talk about land, like this area has very good ground. You can say this, like dirt or soil, or so you can grow plants there, right? Ground can also be different from like the air. So maybe you're flying on an airplane, and then when you land, you say, oh, it feels so good to be back on the ground, to have my feet on the ground. Right? So you might say that after flying, or you might say that after going underwater in a submarine, for example. I know lots of you who are watching are probably traveling in submarines these days, right? But so that's the difference there. So what was the other word? Ground and floor. So floor has two meanings. It could be, we have the ceiling, we have the wall, and we have the floor. So it's just like a surface that we can stand on. But then floor can also be like levels of a building, right? First floor, second floor, third floor. So that has also two different meanings. So yeah, great. Ground might also be, for example, a territory that we have, like the grounds around the building. a very expensive building or maybe a museum or a park might have a special person who is like security for this place, and he might be the groundskeeper. The groundskeeper. He watches this territory, basically. Okay, so Jean has a good question here. Jean says, what's the difference between these two sounds in pronunciation? So, good question, Jean. The two sounds are these two sounds. So in English, we have these two sounds. This first sound is ah. For example, in the word cat. And this second sound is For example, in the word cut. Cut. So, repeat after me. Ah, cat. And cut. Cat, cut. Cat, cut. That's the difference. Good question. All right. Yusuf asks, when can we use more and most? And Yusuf is here with us on Zoom. So hi, Yusuf. How are you today? You'll need to turn your microphone on Zoom.
Yes. Thank you, Kris.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
So where are you from, Yusuf?
I am from France.
Sorry, where are you from?
From France.
From France.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Okay, so
it's a pleasure to speak with you.
Yeah, it's nice to speak with you also. So Yusuf's question is, when can we use more and when can we use most? So we use more and most when we compare things, usually, right? And we usually use more when we compare two things or two groups of things. And we use most when we want to talk about one thing compared to all others. So, for example, we could say the word comfortable. Comfortable is an adjective. Comfortable. Great, comfortable. And then we have a comparative adjective. Comparative adjective. This would be more comfortable, right? More comfortable. And then we have what we call a superlative adjective. And this would be most comfortable. So we have just adjective, comparative adjective, superlative adjective, comfortable, more comfortable, most comfortable. There are some rules about which words we say like this, right? Like, for example, big, we don't say more big, we say bigger. And we say biggest, right? So usually if this word is more than one syllable, like comfortable or school bus, 2 syllables. My name is Christopher, 3 syllables. So if the word is 1 syllable, then usually it changes like big, bigger, biggest. If it's more than 1 syllable, then usually it changes like comfortable, more comfortable, most comfortable. This is the easy rule. There are some other rules too. For example, For example, the word pretty. It's 2 syllables, but words that are 2 syllables, adjectives that are 2 syllables, and they end with Y, the letter Y, and it sounds like E, like these words, pretty, happy, funny, then they change like big. So funny, funnier, funniest, pretty, prettier, prettiest. But usually, if it's 2 syllables or more, then it will change like this with more and most. Yeah, so I hope that helps. Great. Let's go to the next question. Next question. Let's look at questions from YouTube. Okay, so what's the difference between active and passive voice? Active and passive voice. So the difference between active and passive voice is so in active voice, we focus on the subject of the sentence, right? Every sentence has the subject, and then we go to the verb, and then sometimes this sentence has an object. And sometimes a sentence has 2 objects, and then it might even have more information. More information. So we have subject, verb, and then we might have direct object, or we might have indirect object. So in the sentence, for example, if I say, he gave the ball to the dog. He gave the ball to the dog. He is our subject, gave, verb. The ball is the direct object. The dog is the indirect object. And here we don't have any other information. We could say, he gave the ball to the dog on Friday. He gave the ball to the dog at the shopping center. He gave the ball to the dog at 7 a.m., for example. We could have more information after this, right? So usually this is how a sentence looks. This is active voice. In active voice, we put the subject first. The subject is the most important part of the sentence. And we start with the subject. But I can change this. I can change this to a passive voice sentence if I focus on the object, not the subject. The object instead of the subject. So if we focus on the object instead of the subject, we could say, the ball was given to the dog. The ball was given to the dog. So here, the ball, that was the direct object, right? That was the object of the sentence. And now it's at the beginning. This is passive voice. This means that we focus on the object. So we don't know who the subject is, right? The ball was given to the dog by me, by someone. We don't know. It's not important because it's a passive voice sentence. So that's the difference between active and passive voice. Active voice focuses on the subject. Passive voice focuses on the object. And I can give you a good example of how this is realistic, how you might actually use this in real life. So for example, we have the famous painting, the Mona Lisa, and a famous painter, Leonardo da Vinci. So if we want to talk about what Leonardo da Vinci did, we can say Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa. Active voice, right? Active voice. We started with the subject. Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa. But if we want to make this a passive voice sentence, we can focus on the painting, right? And usually when you speak about art and paintings, you speak about the painting first, not the painter. So you can say the Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. Right? So again, active voice, Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa. Passive voice, the Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. The difference is what we focus on. Okay, I see Marina has a question. Hi, Marina.
Hi, Kris. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Kris, I would like to clarify about used, how to use used. If I say used to do, I speak about the past, yes?
Yes.
And if I speak, if I want to speak about my habits, I need to say I used to doing or I used to eat. Yes, the noun. Is this right?
Not completely.
Okay.
So there are three things that we need to know about. Three things we need to know about used to. We have just used to, and we use this like a verb. I used to, and then we say a verb, right? I used to swim. I used to run. I used to go to school. I used to have long hair, for example, right? And that's about the past. But that is completely different from be used to and get used to. Be used to and get used to are a different concept, different idea. So used to, I used to go to school. This is in the past. Be used to, get used to. This is about my habits, what I'm comfortable with, what's easy for me in my life, right? So like I teach every day, so I am used to teaching. I am used to teaching. It means it's easy for me. It's usual for me in my life, right? Now. To be, I am used to teaching. So after used to about the past, we say infinitive. I used to teach in the past, but now I don't, for example. I used to go to school. Now I do not go to school. Right? And so I used to go, infinitive. But I teach every day, so I am used to teaching gerund. This is different. So
this is what you do every day.
Yeah. Right. Or we might talk to someone about how I don't do this every day. I don't feel comfortable, right? Like today I woke up at 5 a.m. I am not used to waking up at 5 a.m. I'm not comfortable. It's not easy. It's new. It's not regular, not usual.
Okay.
And then get used to, we can say get used to when we want to talk about changing, becoming becoming
the process.
comfortable. Yeah,
the process.
Becoming the process, exactly. Yeah. So like I am not used to waking up at 5 a.m. But now I have a daughter and I need to get used to waking up at 5 a.m., for example.
Yes, okay.
I need to become used to. Cool. Is
And,
that
and then you should say that I got used to wake up.
yes? Exactly.
Because I have a little daughter.
Exactly.
Thank you, Kris.
All right, great. Thank you for the question. All right, let's see. We have. Okay, Umida is with us. Hi, Umida. How are you today?
I am fine, thank you. How are you?
Great. Where are you from?
I am from Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. Great.
Yeah, thank you.
And from Astana.
Yeah, actually, I study in Astana, but I was born in Kentau.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So you had a question here in the chat.
Yeah. What's the difference between these people and these people? Actually, I have seen these words in on social networks, and I don't catch it. What does it mean, actually? What's the difference between them?
Okay, great question. Thank you, Amita. So
My pleasure.
so the difference between this is so the first word is this with a short sound, like in the word fish or in my name, Kris. This word is a long E. There's like two sounds, E. These, right? And here it's this. What's correct? These people.
Yeah, because people in a plural noun.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Exactly.
But we can't use these people. We can. We should use these people.
These people, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So this is about one, and these is about more than one, and one and people is more than one. If we want to talk about one, we say person.
Person. Yeah.
This person, these people, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And about pronunciation, here we have this short sound and then we have s. But over here we have long e, and then we have z.
These.
These and this. Yeah. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next question comes from Jean, asking lots of great questions today, Jean. So the question here, two of them, lots of pronunciation questions. Let's start with, it's the same question. Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. So Jean is asking about U sounds and how we pronounce them. So this is one of our U sounds. This is and our other U sound is ooh, with two sounds, ooh, right? So sometimes it's difficult to understand which one we should use because words that have double O, that have two letter O's together, sometimes they sound like this and sometimes they sound like this. For example, we have the word foot. And then we have the word food. Right? Why? Good question. So we just have to remember that some of these words with double O are ooh and some of them are So this is the difference in the sound, Jean. Good question. This is the difference in these two sounds. I'll give you some more examples right now too. For example, we have the word good, not good, right? It's good. You really don't need to open your mouth for this sound. It sounds like somebody hit you in the stomach. Good, right? I don't have to open my mouth to make the sound. I can good. Great. Another example is when we write the letter U, sometimes we have this sound, like with the word pull, 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 like to open the door, pull the door. And this is different from the word pool, right? We have pull and pool, pull, pool. Another example is full. I have a full bottle of water. Full bottle. And a person who's not very smart, not very intelligent, he is a fool. He's a fool. So we have full, 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 and fool, fool. You know, when we say this long U sound, we make our mouth like we're going to kiss somebody, right? Like ooh. So if your mouth looks like you're about to kiss somebody, then it's not this sound. Okay? So we have full, 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 and fool, fool, fool. All right, great. Thank you everybody for coming to this live lesson today. And I look forward to seeing you next time. On Mondays at 9 a.m., we do this live on Facebook. On Fridays, we do this live on YouTube, 9 a.m. New York time. And so also members of our English Everyday program can join these live calls too. And very soon, we probably will only have the live calls with people from our program. But for now, people from YouTube and Facebook can join and try learning and using the platform too. So thank you, everybody. And I look forward to seeing everybody next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.